Hi, the purpose of this video is to go through Fortinet's WAN optimization feature. WAN optimization is a part of the base license of a FortiGate. The FortiGate is absolutely brimming with features. If we go into the feature visibility here, you can see that there's just a whole raft of features that you can turn on. And with the exception of the threat intelligence feeds, almost all the others are part and parcel of the base license, right? So you purchase the device and you can make use of all these other features and functions. But the purpose of today is the WAN optimization feature. So WAN optimization is there to assist you in environments where you have not necessarily slow links, but links with high latency. So, if you're out in a part of the world where maybe you're limited to, I don't know, high latency leased line connections, or maybe satellite links or slow radio links, what you'll find is that the underlying windowing techniques within things like TCP and CIFS will be your enemy in terms of overall throughput, right? Because the sliding window will throttle back the amount of data that can actually be sent across that link, and WAN optimization gets over that by making both sides of the equation believe that they're directly connected. So firstly, it does local acknowledgements, all right? So, when the TCP sends the SYNs and the ACKs, the WAN optimization platform responds to those as though it were the far end server. That means that both the client and the server transmit as fast as they can. The WAN optimization then takes that data, it optimizes it, it compresses it, it removes repetitive strings, and basically allows you to fill that pipe that previously wasn't getting filled, as I said, because of the inherent weaknesses in the protocols, which fundamentally were originally designed to go over local area networks, not over wide area networks. So WAN optimization works as a pair. It's not a standalone. You have to have a device at the head end. So here I've got one, which is my, I've called it provider DC2. It could be your data, whatever you want to call it, hosting site, call site, data center, doesn't matter what you, but this is basically my head end. This is the device closest to the server. And it works in a peer relationship. You can see here, I've got my peer monitor, and it's saying that my far end peer is spoke 1. And at spoke 1, I can see that my far end peer there is DC2. Now, simultaneously to doing WAN optimization, I'm also running another one of the included features within the FortiGate, which is SD-WAN, right? So I've got all these links here. You can see there's traffic going across them. The link that I'm going to be optimizing is this one, Data Center 2, which is an IPsec tunnel. I can see the latencies across those links, all right? So I can see I'm going to be going to this server, 99.4, and I can see that over DC2 here, the latency is 85 milliseconds. It's much higher on this one, and that's because these two servers are in AWS. This one, DC1, is in AWS, or rather points to AWS in the United States, and DC2 points to AWS in the United Kingdom, where I'm located. So basically, that probe packet is going all the way to the United States. There's then a logical IPsec link between the United States and the UK data center. So it's crossing the ocean again, so it's twice, and then hitting the UK, which is why that latency is so high. But even 85 milliseconds is a high latency, and that's the one that I'm going to be using, right? So if we come along to the WAN optimizations, so what I will be using is a Linux client here, and you can see here I've been doing some pings to that server, all right? So there's that server there, and you can see the latency across there. All right, and the way it works is that firstly, you create your profiles within your WAN optimization. So I say, well, what protocols do I want to accelerate? And here I've got CIFS, FTP, HTTP, MAPI, and TCP. Now, for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to be using CIFS and FTP. You can see here that I've enabled byte caching. I'm not using SSL offloading, but I could do, but obviously to do that, you need to be able to put the certificate for the server on the box. As I said, I'm just going to be using CIFS and FTP. CIFS is a particular problem child for most organizations, and I'm going to be doing byte caching as well. I'm also going to be running this in transparent mode, which means that there will be no NAT performed. The IP address from the client will appear natively at the far end server and vice versa, right? So there's no NAT. I can do NAT if I so desire, but simply turning that off. And in this case, I'm not. Now you can also do authentication, all right? Now the thing with our WAN optimization, it does not need to go over an IPsec tunnel. It can create its own secure tunnel. So you can have WAN optimization peers going directly over the internet with no need for an overlay, an IPsec overlay. WAN optimization will do that directly for you. In this case, I'm not doing that because I'm going into an IPsec tunnel, so that seems a bit redundant, but hopefully you get the point. You create your peers, all right? You can see here, this one's host ID is spoke1, and it's communicating with DC2. And on the flip side here, I've got the, peers, that's where I want to be. And here I've got the flip there, okay? Once you've done that, once you've created your settings, you go into your policies and you apply WAN optimization to a policy, right? And what it'll do is it'll optimize traffic coming from that source going out to that destination. Now, the reason it's saying virtual WAN link there is because I'm using SD-WAN. The SD-WAN is intelligent enough to know which of those links that server is on, and it will steer that traffic based on my SD-WAN rules. So here I've got my VXLAN server United Kingdom, all right, and I've used a metric here in terms of the downstream bandwidth, and that will match this interface here, which is DC2, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run traffic without the WAN optimization first, all right? So you see there the WAN optimization is turned off. So we're going to come along here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to FTP. First, I'm going to make sure that there's no copies of that file anywhere. So it is there, so I'm going to remove that, sdwan.pptx, all right? And then I am going to go FTP 192.168.99.4. Okay. Change directory, pub, ls, and I'm going to download that pptx file. So I'm going to go bin hash, so I can see the marking, and I'm going to go mget sd star. Right, yes. Now, that's not going to take too long, but the thing with WAN optimization, it absolutely needs to see the three-way handshake for it to work, right? So it's imperative that it sees the three-way handshake. It needs to see the SYN, the SYNAC, and the ACK, right? So what we won't see here at the moment, we might see some HTTP traffic in the WAN optimization dashboard, but we won't see any FTP traffic, right? All right, so there is the 27 seconds to download that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill that session so that the WAN optimization sees the three-way handshake. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to turn it on that policy. Okay, and I'm going to say active, and I'm going to use the default profile. Okay, we come back here now to my dashboard. Still nothing there because I haven't run the traffic. So now what I'm going to do is, now remember that 27.14 seconds. I'm going to log into that again. Change the issue pub. Oh, hold on, before I go any further, let me delete that file. Remove SD ls. Okay, it's gone. Now, if we ls there's my file. So now I'm going to get bin hash mget sd star. And say yes. Now, what we should see now is if I refresh that, there's my FTP, right? So I can see my FTP traffic going. I can go in there and I can see here that it shows me the amount of savings that I'm having, right? So that's the amount of traffic which is not going over the WAN. We come back here now, 12 seconds. Right? So that's an order of magnitude faster than it was originally. So very brief video, but hopefully that gives you an idea of just how efficient the WAN optimization is on a FortiGate. And remember, as I said, this is for all intents and purposes a free feature on the FortiGate, right? You purchase the device, as long as it's got a hard drive, you just set it up and away you go. You can benefit from this. And it's not just satellite. You could have, for example, an LTE link. Now, sure, 5G promises high performance, but as we all know, you can get various signal quality, and WAN optimization will certainly assist overcome any variations in radio signal quality. Especially if you're roaming, right? If you've got I don't know, maybe you're in a construction company and you're using FortiGates as a mobile networking solution. You may get different coverage based on whichever site you're working on, in which case the WAN optimization will be hugely beneficial there. Once again, thank you for your time, and I hope you found this useful. Bye-bye.